How's it going, guys? Chris Gilman, Marco here from We Love Betting. We are live at King's Cross St Pancras International Station this Thursday afternoon. We're not going to Paris on the Eurostar, unfortunately. We're just here for a meeting. All will be revealed very soon. How's it going? You were at Oktoberfest last week. You're still alive, which I did place a bet at 18-1 that you would die, but no, that's been sick. Sorry,
it was pretty close at some point.
Yeah, was it?
I didn't know where I was until Monday.
You had a good time, man.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Oh, yeah, it's just very strong beer, so you need to
very strong beer.
You need to eat lots, or you'll be fucked like I was.
Anyway, Football League. I hope you kept up with it last weekend, or you.
I'll have caught up on it.
Nice one. And first game is Blackburn against Ipswich. Dodgy start for Blackburn. Ipswich kind of dropped off the pace in recent weeks. What is your bet here, Mark?
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting, really, because both teams, from what I can gather, feel pretty aggrieved at their lack of points in September.
Right.
Blackburn especially, I think they had pretty harsh defeat at Fulham away from home. They came to QPR pretty much, it was a game of two halves, and they came away with a 2-2 draw, and now they dominated the first half. They beat Charlton at Ewood Park, and then kind of got to share the spoils at Hull last weekend, which is, it's a good result.
Yeah.
3 games unbeaten, now out of the relegation zone.
Right.
They're only up in 18th, but still, arguably they think they should be a lot higher. Gary Bowyer's come in for a lot of criticism this season. There was rumours that he was going to be sacked at some point as well. He's had a very destabilising summer, the transfer ban as well, but he seems to finally got the team working. Guested's gone, but they've got the nucleus of a good team there still. They haven't been beaten by 2 goals or more since January, which shows they've been pretty competitive throughout throughout 2015. And crucially for me, Jordan Rhodes has started scoring goals again.
Yeah, he's back in the Scotland squad as well.
Has he? Okay. 79 goals in 150 games for Blackburn now, which is an astonishing record. And with him finishing chances, you always fancy Blackburn to get on the score sheet. Of course, his old club Ipswich are up next, and as well as scoring goals, Blackburn are conceding. They only have 2 fit and available centre halves. Well, they did against Hull, and are unlikely to have any more available this weekend as well. So, immediately this game spells goals. It's all about the 2 teams being a little bit disappointed with their returns in September. Ipswich, I think, took 5 points from 5 games. They were top after 4 games, dropped off the pace a little bit. 2-2 draw with Bristol City last weekend wasn't what the fans expected or wanted for a team who I thought were going to win the league. Interesting, Mick McCarthy said they were out-battled and they lost the aerial battle against Bristol City. Well, they're going to get exactly the same from Blackburn. They're a very, how would you say, physical side, I think you could say. And interestingly, for a Mick McCarthy team who are pretty solid and difficult to beat, they've been a little bit flaky in the centre of park. They've got a very attack-minded team this season. So. They're leaking goals. I think this game's going to have goals. I looked at the 2 teams' records respectively from home and away from the start of last season. 17 of 27 Blackburn home games saw both teams to score. 15 of those 27 went overs. Only failed to score in 5 games. As for Ipswich, 19 of 27 away from home saw BTTS. 16 over 2.5. 11 of those 27 actually scored 4 or more goals as well. So BTTS is a little bit short here, but you can back over 2.5 goals at 1.86 with favourite, which is value actually according to my stats.
Excellent. Just quickly, big news this week is Steve Evans left the order. That was a bit of a surprise, was it?
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, he in the press he came out and pretty much said he lives in Peterborough. He says he's a Peterborough fan. He wanted a Peterborough job, didn't get it. So I think there's probably a little bit of I think the Rotherham management might have been a little bit disappointed with that. But I saw his interview live on Sky Sports News. Spoke to himself in the third person regular time.
He was good at
great
that.
Great guy. Want him back in the Football League.
Definitely, man. It's good fun. Gillingham have had a great start to the season, of course. Justin Edinburgh, their manager, they're at home to Oldham on Saturday. You with Justin and the boys?
Of course, yeah. I'm a big fan of Justin Edinburgh. I've said a few times, back-to-back away defeats, put that behind them in midweek. Absolutely hammered Fleetwood 5-1 on Tuesday night. Saw Graham Alexander lose his job, but they went 1-0 down in that game, scored 4 goals in 16 first half minutes. Looked really good again. They're very solid, not necessarily spectacular, but they've got players who a lot of energy, youthful players who've got a point to prove. They've got real sort of clear, strong leadership from Justin Edinburgh as well, which I like, and they're playing with confidence as well, which is always what you want from a team to back. I think he's a very good manager. I think he's going to probably find himself in the top 2 tiers of football sooner than later. But interestingly for me, it's Gillingham's home record, which is it just doesn't seem to get picked up by the bookmakers. You know, Gillingham are 2.00 here to win, even money to win at home to Oldham. Look at that, they've won the last 8 at the Priestfield Stadium, they've won 12 of the last 16 at home, and since Edinburgh took charge, they've won 9, drawn 2 and lost 2 at home. Now, I don't think Oldham are a very good team. I thought the decision to fire Darren Kelly so soon was bizarre when you've appointed this guy who's unproven anyway, giving him a full pre-season to work his magic and then sack him so soon, and then employ David Dunn, who's got no coaching experience. Seems like a very cheap and easy option, and I just don't think Oldham are very good. I haven't thought it since the start of the season. They've had 6 1-1 draws in their 10 games, but only 4 sides have attempted fewer shots in the third tier. Only 6 sides have faced more shots. Only Swindon and Blackpool have had fewer shots on target. I think only Blackpool, Crewe and Chesterfield have allowed more shots on target. They're not scoring goals. The waveform's patchy. I just don't think they're very good. And 2.00 on Gillingham's a good price.
So you're saying Gillingham tend to be a value price most weeks?
Yeah, at Priestfield Stadium especially.
Right, unfashionable team pretty much.
They are. No real stars, but they're a bloody good team. Justin Edinburgh's a very good coach.
Absolutely. I think the only team in Kent as well in the football league. Anyway,
Pride of Kent.
Pride of Kent. League Two. How about Barnet you've got here? How have Barnet been getting on since he got promoted from the Skrillex League?
No, they're doing okay. They're probably where you expect them to be, lower mid reaches of the table. People love. I see this on Twitter. Everyone's always tweeting me about to oppose Barnet and back against Barnet. I think no, they're better than people think. The reports that I've read and the highlights I've seen, they're very competitive, as you'd expect from Martin Allen's team. They're at Wimbledon this weekend. I think this game spells goals. I think Wimbledon lost Matt Tubbs last January and struggled, and in the summer Neil Ardley went out and signed Tom Elliott, Lyle Taylor, and of course kept Akinfenwa as well. So he knew that they needed goals, and Andy Bartram and Sean Rigg on the flanks. They're very old-fashioned in how they play football. They get it down the flanks and across the balls. They're very good from set pieces. Physically, they're very good as well. So I always like back in Wimbledon to score goals and be involved in both teams to score matches. Only failed to score in 6 of 28 home games since the start of last season. Only 6 League Two sides have had more shots on target than them this season, so they're an attack-minded team, and Barnet have certainly not taken a step back since promotion. Battled well at Plymouth at midweek despite losing 2-1. Look at their away games, they performed pretty well against Portsmouth, Carlisle and Leyton Orient away from home, despite losing all those games. Scoring goals as well. You look at their strike force, John Akindi, who hacked up in the conference. Aaron McLean's a good Football League striker. They've got loads of pace and power going forward. Their record of 3 wins, drawn 1, lost 6 isn't actually that bad. Actually, if you look at their goal scoring record as well, Wickham are top of the league. They've only scored 1 more goal than Barnet. Oxford and Mansfield have scored the same 13 goals this season, so scored loads of goals last season. They've had both teams to score in 4 of their 5 away games, 6 of their 10 games. Wimbledon has seen both teams to score in 17 of 28 at home since the start of last season. It's 1.75.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So I like your 3 bets this weekend, Mark. What's the time? Time to call it.
Catch a train.
We should get a train. We should get the train to Brussels or Bruges or something like that. But unfortunately, we're heading back to Islington and part of Surrey.
Yeah, there we go. Same old joke.
Private joke. Anyway, have a great weekend, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with another video. See you later.